Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fallout Roundtable. This is a place where diverse individuals discuss various topics from the Fallout universe. Join us, the conversation has already started.
Welcome to another episode of the Fallout Roundtable. I am your host, Maverick Stone, and it's just us today. It's no one special. I mean, we got Sassy Lady. We got
special.
Gingerino, but
Ginger's special.
How dare you? My doctor tells me I'm special every time I
My
see
mommy
him.
told
My
me I was
mom
special.
told me. Yeah, my mom told me.
You guys went for the
special I
same
am.
one at the same time,
We did.
as
we got
did
Gingerino
everybody
Jaxxis.
else.
Gingerino's back. Say woo!
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 Well, anyway, before we start our episode, our very special episode, if you want to see that on a t-shirt, let us know first off on our Twitter. On our Twitter at Fallout RTV, give us a message for
We have
that.
a t-shirt on Twitter?
Did you say something
No.
about t-shirt?
He did.
No,
I heard it.
I did, but yeah, I'm just putting it out there. We don't.
So we have a
nothing.
t-shirt on Twitter?
That's what he sounded like.
Oh.
We don't have a physical t-shirt to sell. I'm just saying, if you want to see something similar, let us know.
Oh. I thought now we were selling t-shirts. I was like, oh wow, cool.
I
was
want
so
one.
excited. So
Yeah, no kidding.
excited.
I want
We
one.
I want a
could in
t-shirt.
November. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead yet.
By the way, our YouTube
You may
channel,
want to.
it's not audio only, just so you know. They're actually, you can see our faces there.
Yeah.
I don't know why we keep
But-
saying something about if you want to listen to our audio, you want to go to our YouTube. It didn't make any sense to me. So I figured I'd
No.
clarify. There is video there.
I mean, yeah. Obviously, if you want to go to our YouTube channel, see our faces, or not mine today because I'm don't look the best in.
He's a dirty boy.
Yeah. I just
Dirty,
woke up
sweaty
from a
boy.
nap.
You got
I
stinky
just
stank.
woke-
All right.
But
You
where
can
would
look us
we go
up.
to do that?
Well, now if they go to the
I was
YouTube,
just-
people are
I
going to
was
accuse
just-
them.
Oh.
They'll be like, "Did you just go here so you could see the dirty, sweaty boy?" No,
Yes.
I wanted to see the quality content. I swear.
God.
No,
But whatever
we
your
can-
reasons
you got-
are,
God!
you are perfectly acceptable.
Stop
we're-
it! Let me do my thing.
Busting out my eardrums.
Okay,
My
Matt. All right,
thing, and then
everybody,
we can
let
go.
Maverick do his job.
If you want to see our YouTube channel, you can search us up Fallout Roundtable or add the Fallout Roundtable. It comes up either way. How you know it's us? It's our same logo that's on our Spotify. If you want to send an email to us, send it to falloutrtb@gmail.com. There we go.
Woo!
What's our Twitter?
Woo! At FalloutRTB.
Ding,
Already
ding, ding.
said that.
Well, you said all
Oh.
of it
Are you-
before, but we were letting you do it again.
Cool.
I had to mute myself. I was going to make fun of you for sure. I don't know
Yeah, it
why
was
I do
so
that,
hard to not do something in the middle of that. I mean,
But what? I think that speaks more to us individually as mean people than it does anything else. Because
we
Maverick does a
No,
good
we
job.
just like
You can't
mentally
see
not there.
him, so we lip sync what he says.
Yeah, it's easier to make fun of people when you can't see them on Zoom. That's what I've learned from this.
Okay.
Anyways, let's move on with the topic.
What is
Yeah,
that?
yes, it's just us. There's no one else with us. It's just the gang, minus Romer,
Sorry.
who's somewhere on the East Coast.
With no
he's-
reception.
Yeah, last
Yeah,
we heard, he
pretty
was
much.
in the middle of nowhere with no reception. We think he's fine. We don't know.
We
think
hope
he's
he
hunting-
is.
I think he's hunting Yeti,
I think he's circling a Walmart parking lot right now, trying to find a place to sleep.
probably.
Probably. or a pilot flying J, TA,
Right.
Any of the above.
Petro, all the above.
Unless he's in
Something weird.
Hurricane Alley, then he's trying to find a freeway underpass to park underneath.
Mhm.
Yes. I've had to do that. I actually outran a tropical storm in one. I like to say that to people because I did.
By driving very safely and
Yes, very safely, not running stoplights.
Mhm.
We got really close though. But anyway, let's get back to what our topic is for this evening. We're going to talk all about locations and how they are different from their real life counterparts. Like name wise, how they're depicted in Fallout, all the above, pretty much. And we got a cool map. If you want to look at it with us on our YouTube channel, you can look us up at Fallout Roundtable. It'll be right there as we talk about it. So you don't have to be like, what are they talking about? So anyway,
not that they aren't doing that usually.
You can also find
what the
this
hell
map.
are these people talking about?
Even if they are watching, it's like, what are you talking about?
For those listening on audio only, if you want to see this map, we have it on our screen. It's a map, so it's got all the locations in Fallout put into Google Maps. You can find it on Reddit. It's posted 7 years ago by a username Confederalis. The title of the post is All Fallout Locations in Real Life. It's an actual like Google Maps map. You can go and see every location that's in the games. It's crazy how much work went into this.
Except 76 is not in it because
this came out 7 years ago. 76 wasn't even.
Is Fallout 4 on here? I don't think Fallout 4 is on here.
Yeah, Fallout 4 is in here.
Fallout 4 is in here.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, New Vegas, 4, and Tactics is on this map. So
yes, 76. This map came out before 76 came out.
Oh, there it is. There it is. All the yellow up here. Gotta zoom out. Whatever.
But anyway, who wants to be started? Start this discussion off.
Well, we were going to discuss just one particular area because we do have an expert with us. So I'm trying not to make everybody sick.
I live there.
Right.
Yeah, it's not like he lives there.
And they don't have 76 on here, and I've been there a couple times, and I've been to DC, but we're just going to talk about Vegas. So this is this area here, a little bit over here in the California side. But we're going to zoom in.
So
what do you want to start with, the Strip or?
Well, I was looking at Camp McCarran right here, and it's off of Las Vegas Boulevard and Reno Drive, which I'm pretty sure that's actually McCarran Airport, which is now called Harry S. Reid Airport.
Yeah,
the name of the airport. Yeah, they changed the name of the airport, which actually is off of Luxor Drive as well, which is right by the Luxor. That seems off to me, though, for some reason. I don't know why.
I think the map is a little bit off because if you go
to
like where
it's an older map.
No,
well, not just that, but like the placements. Like if you go to Freeside, like where the Freeside entrance is, and then there's supposed to be a Followers of the Apocalypse station in there somewhere. That's actually listed further away from that spot. I'm pretty sure.
So
also,
the Mirage Casino that is right off of Las Vegas Boulevard is actually the Ultralux.
Well, I noticed for the Point Lookout stuff that I was looking at, they had locations in the ocean that are not in the ocean in the game. So I don't. Like I said, I think there's places that are not accurately pinned.
Yeah.
I think it's more like they've added stuff and it's not a place in the United States. So they got to put them somewhere. No, I think that's more of a case here, especially with Point Lookout.
No, I don't think so. It all made sense to me. It's just where it was didn't make sense because it's not where it is in the game. Like the Osmanthus being out in the ocean, yes, that made sense. The other thing that I was looking at did not.
I was wondering if there was anything. I'm actually looking right now to see if I can find something that's been imploded that was in the game.
Oh.
So
the like Tops,
McCarran,
Gamora, Lucky 38.
The Lucky 38 is just the Stratosphere Hotel, right?
Yeah.
Yes. The Lucky 38 is the Stratosphere Hotel.
All right.
Which, if anybody doesn't know, that's the one that looks like a big old huge needle.
That's the one that stands straight up in the sky.
Yeah. It's actually
it looks cool.
The cool thing about that casino is it's actually got like a hotel or a restaurant on the top that rotates while you're sitting in there.
That's true.
And there's also a roller coaster that goes around the outside of it. It's really interesting.
Very terrifying, I can say.
Yeah, I would think so.
No, I am a big sissy. I'm terrified.
I would have a problem with that. Yeah.
It looks like the King's School of Impersonation is the Four Queens Hotel and Casino.
Oh, the Kings, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, this is great. I love this map.
This is pretty cool.
You know, I never knew that the Tops
I mean,
Casino was actually
yeah.
the Circus. I never put the two together there.
It's what I want to is like you would think that the name, so like they call it the Tops and then it's Circus in real life, and it's like I wonder why the
The
names
Big
aren't
Top.
more similar. Oh yeah, okay. I was
It's-
thinking the Tops.
But you also think later outside of the strip, like a town like Good Springs in real life is still named Good Springs in the game. They change places within that town.
Yeah, but like so the Pioneer Saloon is not called the Pioneer Saloon in the game.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
It's
And I don't
very
know
weird.
why. I don't know why that is, because like they changed some of the stuff in 76 or in
It could
Fallout
have been
3,
legal
but they
issues
didn't
at the
change everything.
time,
That's what I was
I mean,
wondering.
yeah, it could be.
If it was
especially
like
at the
we
time.
we don't want our name on anything.
Oh, you know what though? So it does not mention the name of the actual saloon on the map. It just mentions Good Springs as being Good Springs.
Yeah.
So we don't get the transference of names of actual location on that one.
Mhm.
That's a little disconcerting. Anyway,
Well, I don't know who.
Good Springs Cave, which is actually a mine out there, I believe.
There's a bunch of
Well, it's a
mines.
location. Devil's Gullet,
Lone
Good Springs
Quarry.
Cemetery. Is this cemetery really that far out? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Not from the pictures that
No,
I've seen.
because when you take, all right, so when you're driving away from Good Springs, as you're looking to your left and you're heading back towards the Las Vegas freeway, as you're leaving Good Springs and you're heading that way, if you look to your left as you're leaving, you'll actually see a military memorial, like cemetery area for fallen soldiers that died, like Good Springs residents that had died there.
Okay.
Oh, the one that's a Yangtze Memorial in game.
Probably very much. I don't see
I
it,
noticed that the Gene skydiving is actually the Go Jump skydiving.
I mean, that makes sense. They
That's
can't
fine.
like rename things the exact same. Oh,
Well,
what's the
not
prison?
unless
You know that
they want you to.
you know where the powder gangers are, where they're holding in
Yeah.
prison? What is that in real life?
So let's go to,
Should just be there on your right.
yeah, I'm just looking at the whole Prim thing here. It's kind of,
Powder Ganger Camp, Scorpion
so
Gulch.
the prison should be right across. Actually, the prison's up north more, I think. Hidden Valley.
But in the game, it's really close to Gene skydiving.
It
Yeah.
is. That's why I was popping
Yeah,
all
but
these
in
around here.
reality, I don't think it's that close. Let's see. Rep contest site. That's the Novak. Gibson Scrapyard.
I just see Powder Ganger Camp. Powder Ganger Camp.
Yeah, well, I just found Black Mountain, which is Sloan Canyon conservation area.
Hidden Valley.
Which actually anybody interested in those
Novak.
areas, you can also check out videos from Chip, who does a lot of these things online. He actually goes to these
He
locations.
gets to, yeah. Sometimes he
Hunter's
gets
Farm.
access that we can't get.
Right.
It must be an actual prison there because next to
That's
Gene
what I
skydiving
figured.
There is
is the it's
there
the
is a prison in that
NCRCF.
area. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just
I
trying
can
to
see it's
find it.
Prison Road. So okay, so it's an actual prison. That's
Yeah,
Yeah, there's an
that's good.
actual prison out
Well,
there.
I would think so. Yeah.
Do you think that like if you were a developer at Bethesda, you would go to a location in real life and then you look at the building and think to yourself, all right, this is a prison. Piss on it. It's just going to be a prison in the game as well. I don't feel like thinking of something else. Like I mean,
So-
that's the best way to do it, probably.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
So-
no, because if you when it comes to this, if you notice that all the locations are very similar to the real locations that are there, or they made something up completely new. In other
So
words, there was
the-
nothing in those locations.
So we talked to the developers for 76 and like how they came about it. They had like a week and they drove all over West Virginia looking at stuff and visiting towns, visiting sites and taking a bazillion pictures and everything so they could go back and make these places. And some of them, spot on. But I think when they created the map, they also moved some of the locations because it worked better.
I've got
Well,
another
yeah.
expert. Hold on a second. Babe, can you
Then
come
it
here
did.
for a second? So, all right, here's Good Springs. Where's the prison? Isn't the prison like supposed to be like right across from it? Do you remember?
It's right next to the Go Jump skydiving.
It's closer to
Is that what the NCRCF is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
should
it
be.
is. It is.
So
right
the
next to it
NCRCF
then.
is Gene Conservation Camp is a prison road. So all right, there it is.
Yeah, it's
All right.
right. Like here's the skydiving, and here's the prison.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Actually, I see the facility.
And it
I
said,
can,
yeah.
I can see the layout of the facility if you scroll in even further. You can see how they have
Oh yeah.
the towers and stuff set up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the internal
And
structure. of it.
it's in a rough circle, which is how it is in the game.
Yeah, it's not a conversation. Conservation. camp.
Conservation. Well, that's
Uh,
what we call it now.
Well,
It's
it might be what it actually is now. Because is that prison closed?
it might be because they have a new state-of-the-art one closer to Prim.
Okay, so they built another one closer to Prim. All
I'm gonna
right.
say, but they still called it Prison Road. That loops around
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Hmm.
It should be Conservation Road.
Thank you, dear. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Aw. That was Mrs. Jaxxis.
Mrs. Jackson.
Mrs. Jaxxis.
Well, I call my husband Mr. Sassy. He loves it.
Prospector's Den, Coyote Den, Hidden Supply Cave. I don't know why I talk like this when I
love-
think. Every time I think of like
when you're
Fallout, all of a sudden I
south-
become Southern somehow. I just got to talk this way.
Which is funny because it's still in Nevada. It's not so.
Right.
Look at all these mines out here. I feel like they could have done more with that.
The Mine of Mine, Nevada Highway
Lone-
Patrol Station,
Lone Wolf Radio.
Nimpton Road Rest Stop.
Well, to be honest, during our 50th episode, we were taught, Stephen, what stats and you were talking about the underground caves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he knows
Where
a
that
lot
could have
about
been.
that area. Like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, he's,
It is close.
Yeah.
So
which is pretty funny because he's originally from like Louisiana or something.
here's the long
Yeah.
15. The long
Ooh,
15.
old nuclear test site right on the edge of California and Nevada. It's actually the Castle Mountains range area.
Up
Interesting.
here.
Apparently, they're starting. This is in real life. Apparently, the United States is starting to build nuclear weapons again, and they're going to test them out in New Mexico.
Like before.
Shh. Putin might be listening.
He
Way to
knows.
go.
No, it's on the
It's
south of the
public
Big Sur.
information at this point.
Haha. Joke's on you. I'm going to take this information to the Canadian
And
Army.
what are they going to do with it? Hope build
They'll
missile
probably be
silo.
like, oh, yeah, it's interesting, eh?
You know,
So is there actually a missile silo there? I wonder. It's not going to be on the map, is it?
It's not showing you.
Uh,
If you'd have to go to the south of the big block area, and it is, if you were to look at the Cal Navari at the 95 and head east, or excuse me, west. Yeah, head west from that location. You'll see it. I think you're
looking
too
for-
far.
I know. I'm looking for what you're talking about. 95.
Scroll out. You're in the wrong spot.
You're
Okay.
talking about
Box.
I-95, right?
Bottom of the box. Okay.
There's
Go
15.
right to the
Okay.
center of the
I-
box.
Already.
Stop right there.
Right here in the center
Sounds-
of which
Oh,
box?
no,
The red
no,
box?
No, right where your icon is.
Uh-huh.
Go to the red box.
Uh-huh.
All right. So go to the center of the red box. Stop.
Up here.
Nope.
Yeah.
Go back down. Put your hand
Go
back down. Down, 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 down.
This
No,
is
no,
like
don't stop.
how my mom corralled me.
Right there.
Ah,
As a
You,
yeah,
you
kid.
literally
yeah,
were
yeah.
touching it.
Where?
Go.
Here?
No, you just passed it again. Down.
This one?
There. Yes.
On the line. Oh, you're right. It is on the border. Oh,
Ha, ha, ha,
okay.
ha, ha.
Ha ha!
Of course,
And
you
you
got to
crashed
make sure that
vertebrae.
the people that are listening understand what you're talking about. Anyway.
So, but there's nothing on the actual map. Well, Castle Mountains, that's not.
That's the Castle Mountains location. There's like little mountains range there.
Doesn't
So
say
Cotton
anything
Crater.
about-
Now, what do we got
A lot
actually
of
on the lake? So the Dry Wells is actually on the lake. Blue Paradise Vacation Rentals.
Oh,
Unfortunately, the vaults are just in the middle of nowhere. I was kind of hoping they would place the vaults on something.
No,
in
they
real
put them
life,
like
but I mean,
smack
it makes
dab.
sense.
And a lot of their locations seem to have been kind of in the middle of nowhere where there's nothing really.
Yeah, which
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean,
but you also got to think that they had to condense this map, so a lot of these towns.
oh yeah,
and
this is
stuff.
not to scale. It is not
No,
to
not
scale
at
at all.
all.
So, what's cool is there's one legit area that's right on the Colorado River. The Cottonwood Cove location is
Is
actually
on-
Cottonwood. It's actually
Yeah.
Cottonwood Cove.
Okay,
Right?
A
Apparently, it
little
wasn't
further north.
trademarked.
There you go.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm
So
looking for other
that one's
places that
interesting.
they didn't make up.
Cliffside
like
a
Prospectors Camp.
Abandoned bunker, and I mean, some of that stuff they probably just put in and
I feel like we've shown off a lot of what
Stuck
this
it
map
wherever.
can do, and we should let people maybe experiment and play with it themselves.
yeah, I mean,
Okay, yeah.
it's worth a look just to see.
Just
'cause,
because
like,
it's probably time for a break.
like
You
I
think
found
so?
this area
Okay.
interesting. Probably
Close
All right.
enough.
Oh, the damn.
you are
After these messages, we'll be right back.
back.
Ever wanted to be a content creator but had no clue where to begin? Come join me as I sit down with content creators that have already faced the challenges you're up against, as they discuss the tips and tricks that help them be successful. Here on The Content Creator's Guide, available wherever podcasts can be found. Welcome back, everybody. So now that we're back, we're going to go ahead and start, we're going to run onto the other side of the map. And Maverick's going to kind of start telling us a little bit about, it's Fallout 4 that you were going to, right?
Yeah, we're gonna switch games. We're not gonna go New Vegas no more. New Vegas is fun and all, but it's time to get bigger and better.
The map does show those locations, but we're not going to beat you to death with the map. You guys can look at that yourselves. Maverick's
be in
got
the
some things
description.
prepared. Yeah, it'll be in the description. Awesome. So
If I remember it.
So lay some knowledge on us, brother.
Okay, so for my little my little spiel or rant or whatever, it's all about Diamond City and some of the locations in Boston that I think that don't make sense, but make sense at the same time of why they did it as they did. So, for instance, with Diamond City, we all know in real life that's Fenway Park, home of the Boston Red Sox. But we also see in game in Fallout 4 as Diamond City, where it's like a big old settlement. People move in, and I was trying to get wanted to get your guys' opinions. Now, why did Bethesda turn a landmark such as Fenway Park into a big old settlement for people to live in? Because they could have keeping with the sports genre, Gillette Stadium, home of the New England Patriots, is not that far off either. But they did not include Gillette Stadium at all.
Did they call it
there's
something
no
else, or
no? There's
No.
nothing.
It's yeah,
Absolutely
maybe
nothing.
it's destroyed.
No,
I'm sure they
there's
didn't want
no
two
mention of
giant
football whatsoever.
settlements, but I'm sure there's no two giant settlements that close to each other.
well, it might have
You
been a
know.
legal thing too?
Maybe.
Oh, I probably guess it probably is too. But for the sake of lore and for the sake of why we think we're going to speculate why they did it, why settlers and why Bethesda turned beloved landmarks such as Fenway Park. There's a settlement in Bunker Hill. There's a couple other ones that I can't think off the top of my head, but there are a lot of these other big landmarks that are settlements around it, or it's not there specifically, like Lexington and Concord, where it's just a little town out there, but they're included in the game also. That's where I was trying to get with this whole thing. Why would they do it like that? Why do you think they would do that like that? And I wanted to get a discussion
my main
going.
speculation would probably have to do with some sort of legal.
Mhm.
Certain places are like, no, I don't want this. I don't want the name of my building associated with this video game.
Right.
That's so stupid. or whatever. You know what I mean? Some of these
I know,
people
because
might
it's-
have an issue with it.
It's silly because A, we're going to find out what it's based on anyway, and B, it's good advertising for them. And
I mean,
Well,
even then,
here's
may
my
have some-
thing.
you
it
can
could be
avoid all
cons-
that by just not naming it the same thing, because
Yeah.
they do
Right.
that with a lot of other businesses, like, where there's
right,
a store in real life, they just rename it, I can't
the
remember.
super duper market.
The Super Duper Mart. They'll
Yeah,
just call it that.
yeah.
Well, I
So
mean,
it's like,
Vault
You know,
Tech
it'd be
is
really funny.
is
Like,
West
all right,
Virginia use.
Or
like going back to
Corvega.
that map thing. Imagine having a location like Vault 81 and you scroll down really tight and it actually shows you like the location on the map. Turns out to be a McDonald's or something.
Everybody's going into the McDonald's. You know you have a vault in your back room. We want it. We want to get
we
in
know.
there.
Bethesda told us it was true.
In my game, it's real.
I feel like they did Fenway Park because people know the name. I've never been
Right.
there, and I know the name of Fenway Park, but I've
I
never
mean, I
heard of
didn't-
Gillette Stadium before.
Exactly. That's same. Everybody knows Fenway.
Yeah.
So that
I didn't even
that's
know
a
that.
Yeah,
landmark
I
thing.
I
could
didn't even
understand.
know the Patriots played in Boston. I didn't know.
They play
care.
they play in a suburb of Boston in Foxborough. But yeah,
Okay,
Holston.
which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
not in
yes.
the game. So there you go.
yeah, Foxborough's not in the game either. Not
Yeah,
even
but
close.
There you go.
But I'm also thinking that they were trying to go with a theme for the Revolutionary War. Why would they include Lexington, Concord? A lot of these are. I get it. It's the
You think it has to do
US
with the Commonwealth?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Commonwealth
believe
stuff.
it is.
That's kind of where I was thinking.
Yeah, that's what I think. Because they did the Freedom Trail. They did, that museum right off the bat, and a lot of the pictures and uniforms and stuff that's depicted as Revolutionary War.
Yeah, and faction itself. I know we're going off topic of locations, but there's a faction. We all know the Minutemen faction was
Yeah.
based upon the First Continental Army.
Because they were ready in a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
George Washington Memorial Parkway is actually Big Town. Huh. Sorry.
Nice. Well, anyway, yeah, back to locations and stuff. I also thinking outside of Bethesda. We all know it's probably legal reasons, or like they had to create something different. Not all locations are like all the same. But from a lore standpoint, why would you think settlers would want to go into some of these locations, such as Fenway or Lexington is like a ghost town at this point. Or is it Concord? I know both are in the
Concord.
game.
Concord
Because-
is not. There's not much in Lexington, I don't think, and Concord is kind of dead. There's raiders there.
Yeah, I was trying to think the big Corvega plant, and it was either in Lexington or Concord.
I think so, maybe. But it's full of raiders.
Where you face someone very similar to myself, but we won't discuss that at this point.
The Corvega factory?
Yeah, the Corvega factory.
What's
That-
that got to do with you?
I found its location.
The big raider boss that you have to
Oh,
kill
you're
to
the-
clear the place.
That's over
Big
by
Raider boss,
Gilbert
okay.
Highlands. It's actually off of what they call
In
Domer Avenue.
real life, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So as far as settlers settling in Fenway or Diamond City,
Building it from the
obvious.
inside
I mean,
out.
I think they said when you ask them, they say, well, the walls, 'cause the Great Green Wall, let's praise the Great Green Wall. That's why, because it was defensible.
We can all agree that Fenway Park, or Diamond City as it's called in the game, is very defensible once you have the right stuff, the right resources in the right places. Because at least in the game, there's only one way in or out that we know
Right.
of.
Minimal entrance.
Yeah.
And they had
So-
the doors that they could put down to keep people out. And they
And
opened them for, because they
and
weren't going to
around-
open them for Piper.
no, they weren't.
Mhm.
It's weird. They got the they got the Rivet City They got
Mhm.
it kind of sitting on a landmass spot right next to the Anacostia River. I don't
The
know if I said that.
Anacosta.
Okay, is the IA kind of not
Yeah, it's the
Anacostia.
Anacostia. Yeah, it's the Anacostia River.
okay? Well, yeah, it's like showing it kind of like on a landmass, unless in the game maybe that landmass has been blown up. I don't know, but yeah, they
I'm
kind of.
going to Washington D.C. I would assume after getting blown to hell in a handbasket, I'm assuming that that map would not even come close. You know, the real version would be a lot of those locations would be all over the place because of.
Some are, but I've been to DC and a lot of them are spot on.
Well, you
Oh
got the
no,
Jefferson
I don't.
Memorial. It's
Right.
the Jefferson Memorial.
I mean, all of those, on the mall and everything, those are all the right locations. All the Lincoln, the White House, Capitol, blah, blah, blah. I mean, scale's off for sure.
Oh, the Leofant
The
Plaza
museums and everything.
is
Yeah,
actually
DuPont.
that's actually called the Leofant Plaza shopping
Yeah.
mall.
Most
Yeah.
of them are. Yeah, DuPont Circle, all of those are the same names.
A
Yeah,
lot
a
of
lot-
them are, very.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much in Fallout 3 that has different names. They're very similar. Now, there's different, like I said, the scale is all wrong as far as like how close Bethesda is to DC and, things like that. That's all whacked out.
Yeah, but
Scale is
that's just
definitely off.
headquartered out of Maryland.
Uh-huh.
At least
And it's
main
in the
HQ
game.
Is.
It's in the game.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, there's a Bethesda location.
Yes, there is.
No,
And
it's
it's a
probably
ruins.
it's probably the hospital then, because there's a Bethesda medical center right there.
Well,
I
it's
don't think they have the
located. I
hospital.
just
It's
saw
like
it a
it's
few minutes ago.
it's
I just
just
don't
a
remember where.
ruins. It's like Bethesda ruins or something like that.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
I
They called it
remember
the
this, and
ruins.
it's been a long time. Last
mean,
time I was in DC was 6 years ago, but I looked at all these places and was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm in the Fallout. I know where I'm going because." Well,
So
I
when
already
they
knew.
go to deciding a location for a game, I mean, so if we scroll out, like the United States has been covered quite well. I
Yeah,
would
if
say
you
Well,
that-
if
look
you count
at it-
tactics, yeah, if you count tactics, it has been.
yeah, well, I mean, tactics, took a good chunk of the Midwest, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Colorado,
There's no noise in Illinois. Sorry.
Illinois, whatever. How
There you go.
annoying.
Illinois.
It's
It's Illinois. People get annoyed.
They do
You know
Illinois
what?
get mad
people
about
I
it.
get
really
really
don't care.
personal.
They get mad about
I
it.
don't care. I'm from California.
And they'll boot you back over
They
there.
hate me anyway.
True story.
True story.
You're one of those hippie freaks.
Happy
Yeah.
tracks.
Sure, that's me.
You seem very hippie to me.
I carry a gun and I like guns.
Sounds
That's
like a hippie.
totally anti-Californian right there.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
if
know.
you go to Danville, Illinois, they'd probably think the same thing.
I'm a Nevadan now. I've been a
Anybody that's
Nevadan.
south of 80, because
You know-
downstate, it's like Chicago, south of 80, whole different state.
You know what
Yeah,
I think a
yeah,
good
no, I agree.
location to put a Fallout game would be is like northern Montana.
No,
Yeah, but what's
we
out
talked
there?
about this. We
We
talked
did.
about this. No,
Yes,
no,
we did.
no. Well, yes, here in
I'm agreeing,
the
we
Fallout Roundtable,
Right.
but
did.
we in the Fallout Lorecast patron chat that we just did.
Oh.
At the time of this recording, we recorded that on Tuesday. At the time of this recording, we recorded that episode on Tuesday, and someone brought up Montana because it would bring more lore. Their reasoning was it'd bring more lore, more Canadian lore, and then it would also be more open and bring more different fauna and a bunch of other
which is
stuff. And
cool,
then,
but as far as like discoverable locations, they're going to have to make up half of it
Well, they got
because
Great
there's
Falls,
not that much out
Spokane,
there.
Miss
Yeah.
Lua,
Oh, you're talking about-
Moscow. There's Glasgow.
Have you actually been to these places?
No.
I have.
No.
I have. I've been to some of these locations, yeah. And
But you're
Not
also
much.
right next to
I mean,
Lexburg,
unless you hit the big ones
Calgary.
like Great Falls, Bozeman, Missoula.
You
Uh,
gotta. Well, I think it was Missoula that got brought up.
Yeah, there's a school there.
Yeah,
Or Bozeman.
but
I don't know.
they were thinking the big old state as a whole, but also Missoula because it'd be more open. It'd be more western like. I brought up that they could implement more of a second gold rush that would bring up boom towns, and then after those
What about the
towns,
Yellowstone, man?
also
Yeah.
the Yellowstone National Park. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, I was
there's
thinking more of the
You
Yellowstone
could bring up
Ranch.
there you go. I've
that
never
too.
seen them incorporate TV into it. But I mean, there's plenty of
I
ranches
would
out
love
there,
to
so
see
they
them
can probably
do
use
that,
somebody
though.
else's ranch.
Well,
They'd
isn't there an
probably
actual
rename it.
Yellowstone Ranch? I thought there was a Yellowstone Ranch.
No, it's a TV show.
No, I know
Well-
it's a TV show, but I think the ranch is real. Like, it may not be called the Yellowstone Ranch, but I don't know.
There's probably
Well,
a big
it's
ranch
called
like that
John
out there.
Dutton's Yellowstone.
I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
there
I'm
is
not gonna look it up. I'm not gonna look it up
plenty
today.
of places out there.
I've got more life to live than that.
Yeah,
But then
me
again,
too.
like Texas and San Antonio, I mean, I
I think
understand
New
everybody talking about
Orleans is
Louise.
where
Yeah.
it's at, man. You talk about locations, you talk about lore, you talk
You know,
about crazy creatures you can
everyone's
come up
saying
with.
New Orleans,
New
but I
Orleans.
don't think they're gonna do it. I don't think they're
100%.
gonna do it.
They probably won't because that's what we all want.
No, I think they're
That's
gonna
what
stick
we
on the
want.
East Coast.
Well, if they
Stay
go
close
back
to
to the
home.
East Coast, where would they have? They would have to go like south, right?
left?
Like Florida,
No.
Jacksonville.
No,
I
they
mean,
have to go to New York City.
Yes, there's a mod for New York City. So like why would they make a game out of it when there's a mod? Like it's already like I
Because
feel
it's
like it's been done.
Bethesda. What do you think they would do?
You just said that they do what you don't want them to do.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's all speculation anyway.
It is very much speculation, and you're starting to grind my gears a little bit.
I can
Why?
do it.
But I don't know why. It's just been that type of week this week, just in general. So it's not
Okay,
just
folks.
you.
He just needs a little medication. He'll be fine. All right.
Trying to think. That you could either put it in New York. If we were to stick to the East Coast, I could see them putting it in Baltimore, unless that's in Fallout 3.
I'm all for Mexico City.
Oh, that was my second choice for that.
Yeah,
for that Tuesday
I've always
episode.
been like, because then you got like more things like the Chupacabra and all that. They got a lot of like
more cryptids.
they got a lot of
more
cryptids down.
cryptids.
Yeah, they got a lot of cryptids down there.
Then you could bring in all the Aztec and Inca stuff.
Yeah.
A lot more voodoo, or like a lot more sacrificing, people going back, being more tribal. Or the cartels running everything.
I don't know. But it does create some curiosities. It's like, what do you think the southern part would end up like? I mean, would they have been hit as hard? Did they get hit at all? It's just like speculating whether or not China actually got hit.
Yeah. Well, all we know in Fallout is that the United States got nuked Kingdom Come.
Right.
We don't know about the rest of the world. For all we know, Europe could be completely fine.
Well, we already gone through that one, yeah. But like even south of the United States, I mean, I wonder, what their
I feel like I feel like the nuclear fallout would be. I don't think getting nuked directly, but I think it'd be more the nuclear fallout that'd come after that affect the like Canada and like Mexico.
Yeah.
Didn't affect Appalachia very much, so and it's very
But
close to
Appalachia
BC, which
looked
was
like
nuked into the ground.
Yeah, that's the thing is Appalachia like had their trees, their plants, their most of their like
But you guys, well, Appalachia Fallout 76 came out in the
5 years
timeline. It
ago.
was 20. Well, no, in Fallout timeline,
25
it was
years after the
25.
war.
Yeah, 25 years. So
Which would have been the highest amount of radiation in the
Which
timeline because
that tells me that the
basically-
odds are is that area there was probably furthest from the fallout at the time.
yeah,
at the
You know what
time.
I mean?
think about it, because it's
Well-
nestled in between mountains.
Well, I'm not sure, but I mean, just seems like the area wasn't like, it wasn't turned into a complete wasteland like,
Well,
DC.
there
Well,
probably
there's not
wasn't-
much there that they have to nuke, I'm sure, but so like in reality, because like North Carolina is not really mentioned, because in reality, Charlotte's going to get blown off the map because it's a huge financial area. It's like the second Wall Street or whatever. So that's out of the picture. And
What about
so
military
I don't-
targets though? I mean, is there any
we have
bases in that
8
area?
bases in North Carolina or something like that. Like we have I think
Yeah,
we have
sounds
the
about
most
right.
bases per state. And there's
Okay.
like
I think
a
it's
crap
either
ton of
North.
stuff here.
I think it's either North Carolina or Texas that has the most per state.
Well, we have, I mean, if you're counting like for the reserves and the Coast Guard and everything else, we have a bunch. Army, Marines.
Yeah, in the state.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
in the
thinking,
state.
so
In my
it's
own.
one thing to have like bases that are like human,
Yeah.
based on soldier count.
Mhm.
But I'm talking about equipment. Like large cache of aircraft, large
Like who's got
cache
the
of
planes? Yeah.
tanks,
there's
and
a lot
that
out
kind
here.
of stuff. Like
I-
that would be like more of
There's-
a heavy military hit.
There's at
Pearl
least
Harbor, for
2
instance.
that do I mean, there's 2 out here that do air shows all the time because, they've got the flyers.
Yeah. Well, aircraft easily can be moved, but at the same time, it's like
If
there's
you know
got to
it's
be that
coming.
staging area or the area where they build aircraft. You know what I mean? Which
We got that too.
Yeah. So that's where I'm like,
We do
I don't
have an
know.
aircraft, a brand new, actually. Well, not brand new, but fairly new aircraft facility. They had to build the road to the coast so that they could get those big plane parts out there.
But yeah, yeah, that's where I'm like thinking like those
That's
would be
why I
cool
think, like,
spots.
We wouldn't really be around, so they can't really put it around this area. I don't know about
Yeah,
any further
I
south,
don't
though.
think. I mean, you could put it in Atlanta, but Atlanta would be bombed to Kingdom Come.
Huge
and
airport,
probably
#1 airport.
no. I thought no. Chicago O'Hare, that's #1, or it's LAX.
Though Chicago and Atlanta are always like back and forth, but I think Atlanta is technically the busiest airport. I don't know anything about LAX. I just know that O'Hare and Atlanta have always been neck and neck. I think
No,
it
And I
LAX
know
is
because
gonna
I
be
go by both of them. I go by both of them.
well, they're
and
both
it
going to be
always-
taken out because they're huge.
Well,
They're not going to want anybody to be able to travel by air.
Well, I think there would be any major metropolitan area is going
Oh,
to be
God,
a
yes.
target. You know what I'm saying? Anything
Yes.
where they're
You know,
going to be able to
Detroit,
massively.
Yeah, all the big cities. Yeah,
Chicago,
I
Yeah.
think all the big cities are going to get wiped.
Indianapolis, Charlotte,
Charlotte for sure. Because they're going to
Cincinnati,
shut down our
Cleveland,
financial.
Well, anybody that's on the
DC,
big,
Pittsburgh.
any place that's
places like
based
that.
on the World Trade element, that's a major World Trade Center kind. Anything with a dock, where a boat can come.
Well, yes, for shipping, right?
yeah,
So a
shipping and
lot of ports
receiving.
that are going to be.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
LA is kind of inland, and
So by
they,
Norfolk.
But
but
but in Fallout in the original Fallout way back when, there were mentioned that it was set in Los Angeles and LA was a crater.
well, so the Santa Monica
It's
Pier
Boneyard,
would be
yeah.
where it would actually be that's where you're going to get a lot of your shipping and receiving. I believe it's through Santa Monica. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's where
yeah.
the major piers and stuff like that. Maybe Oxnard, Ventura,
Yeah.
Santa Barbara. Those are all
Over
major
here,
port
it's
areas.
Norfolk.
Yeah.
is a
So
big
I
one.
mean, yeah. So
Norfolk's in Virginia.
the thing about
That's what I
hitting
said,
Santa
over
Monica.
here. I said
so
over here.
Yeah. So the thing about hitting Santa Monica would actually be what would wipe out Los Angeles.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because if they're going to
And-
target that, because I mean, targeting Los Angeles, yeah, you get a great body count, but militarily, you're going to want to take out the docks.
Yeah, you're gonna want to take out Santa Barbara, San Francisco. Yeah,
well,
L-
Santa Monica is going to be a big hit. You know,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I feel wiping out Los Angeles is more of a pride, morale, demeanor that we just destroyed
can.
one of your because they can.
well, it's a symbol. It's Hollywood.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's symbolic. But at the same time, taking out the Santa Monica Pier area would be a great military hit. You know, I
Yep.
mean,
Yeah, because you want to cripple your resources
Yeah.
of the opponent.
but then again, the first game pretty much revolves around that area.
There's a lot of
I'm just looking at. I'm like thinking, you know, there's a lot of areas that the game has not like touched on. Like I mean, North and South Dakota. Yeah, I'm sure there's not a whole lot that like. Now, mind you,
Wall drug. If they do that, they have to put wall drug in. Have
wall
to.
drug.
See, I said the
Yeah.
same thing because someone also in that episode we recorded, there were a lot of the because it was a full house that day, that for that recording, like 8-9 of us were there. We didn't even get through everyone.
Was
It's gonna
that
be
a
a part
Fallout
2.
Lorecast?
Yeah, the lorecast that we
Uh-huh.
recorded on Tuesday, because Tom was away on vacation and he had just gotten back.
Yeah, I remember that conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently we all like rural areas compared to what all you guys are saying, because they brought up Montana, I brought up Phoenix, Arizona. Someone brought up South Dakota, like with Mount Rushmore and everything.
Well, New Mexico and
The
Texas
Badlands.
is such a huge area that, like, I mean, because you got Roswell, you know, that's like right next to Roswell and Lubbock are only a few hundred miles apart.
Oh
So
yeah, no,
you've got a
I've actually
large
thought about it.
area there, but at the same time, you know, that's an area that may not have been hit, because even if Dallas got hit, it would be like the same thing as if like California got hit and it spread to like Nevada. That's how far away Lubbock is from like Fort Worth.
Yeah, no, I
It's a
had to do a
huge
load.
span. Yeah.
I had to do an ice cream load from Lubbock, and I'd take it to. No, I dropped off. It was a 2-stop load. I had to drop off first in Lubbock, and then I had to go to Dallas Fort Worth. Yeah, there is a one road that takes you directly from Lubbock to Dallas Fort Worth.
The
And it's a
380.
U.S. highway. Yeah, 380.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go south from Lubbock, you hit the 380 and then you head east, and that'll take you all the way into Fort Worth. So,
Yeah.
but the main thing I was referring to is the amount of distance. If you look at the distance between Lubbock and Fort Worth, it's
about 3
damn near
hours.
it's about the same distance that you would get from, like, say, Fallon, California, all the way into excuse me, all the way into like Elko. You know, I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty far into Nevada, you know what I mean? And so that, no, mind you, go further south. So Bakersfield, there you go. That's a perfect example.
Yeah,
So
that's a great example.
So Bakersfield to like Good Springs, that distance there is probably the same as from like Lubbock to Fort Worth. So, I mean, if you're thinking about blast radius and all that kind of stuff, you know, that you could do a whole thing from there, and that area would probably not be as damaged if they were to hit like Fort Worth and all the bases and shit that's out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like in the terms of Appalachia and Fallout 78.6, I feel like the same, based on what we're saying, the same probably happened, and why it's so green only 25 years later when everything happened. Because I feel like it was nestled in between a couple of the mountain ranges. We all know Washington, D.C. got nuked to Kingdom Come, but all that radiation probably went out to the sea and not inward, because it was
Sounds
like
like
literally.
Iowa.
Yeah, it does sound like
I don't know, because
Iowa.
I think it would sink into the valleys and stuff and just be more.
Well, like there's areas of like Dubuque, Iowa. There's like, you know, like a gully with mountains on both sides of it. Because I've actually been there when a tornado hit, and
Yeah,
the
it
tornado
bounces.
was like bounces off everything and just shreds
Yeah,
everything to
that's
pieces.
the town that I
Yeah.
grew up in Indiana. We had a couple of tornadoes that only one hit the town because it actually came between, like down the valley instead of over. And it was the only one. It was like 1919 or something like that.
So there's a lot of cool like possible destinations for putting in a game, and I
Yeah.
think we covered a lot. I think we should leave the rest up to the listeners to figure out as to what areas they think would be cool, and maybe they could send us an email or contact us on Twitter and maybe bring up some of
Or-
your locations and reasons why you think that the certain areas would be interesting. And if the conversation's cool enough, maybe we'll bring you on, or we'll at least discuss your areas and why we think it sucks or we think it's cool, or maybe we got some other ideas about it.
Oh,
Sound
I have
cool?
another. I before we finish here, I had
Didn't say
I had
anything?
another idea
Okay.
for something. What about Buffalo, New York?
So I mean,
Instead of
all
New
of
York
New
City.
York. Where's Buffalo? I mean, in comparison, I don't know much about the East
But
Coast. So.
so Buffalo is right on one of the Great Lakes. I think it's Ontario. It's literally
Oh, I see it right now. Yeah,
Niagara Falls is literally right there. You can basically get to Canada. There's a Canadian.
it's about 150,
And-
250 miles west of Rochester, New York.
Yeah. Put the game there.
Right there on the water with what does it say? Oh, Orchard Park. Niagara Falls. Actually, that would not be too bad of an idea to have Niagara Falls and that whole area encompassed into a game.
Use it as like a backdrop. That'll be a great backdrop for like.
Well,
their
it'd be a good
commercials, like
thing
how
to
they
have
do.
like kind of like a East Coast version of NCR, you know what I mean? Taking over Niagara Falls
Yeah, they
or the
could.
Brotherhood of Steel or something. I could see
But
that.
yeah, just an idea. We could probably talk about it more in a different episode. I just thought of it just now. So
It's not a bad. So, wait a second here.
did you know
What?
Buffalo, New York is where buffalo wings were made? Were first made?
Wow, you know what? I never realized. Oh, I'm looking at the border of Canada and the United States. That is a cool place to actually incorporate the two.
Yeah,
It-
that'd be
it-
another thing to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Fort Erie's on the Canadian side, and then they got. I didn't know that, and so I didn't really.
Toronto's not far from there either.
Well,
Or it's a little bit of ways.
yeah, it's a little ways. I mean, Hamilton's. Well, Toronto's pretty far north. It's like actually about 1,000 miles north of Niagara Falls. Is that? Yeah, well, yeah.
I feel like they can condense that a little bit.
Well, it's a video game world, so yeah, they could do whatever they want.
Yeah, they
But
can
yeah,
condense that.
I'm just that looks really interesting. That might actually really a really cool spot. Now that you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it, like the cryptids and all, but that's probably another discussion for another episode.
Yeah. You want to take us out of here?
Yeah, I'll take us out.
All right.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Fallout Roundtable. If you like what you've heard, how about you check out some of our other episodes that we have, like our 50th episode with our friend of the show, Steven Stetz of the Pioneer Saloon, as we were talking about earlier in this episode. If you want to follow us, again, our Twitter is @FollowRTB. Love to see new followers. If you want to send us an email, send us an email under the followrtb@gmail.com. Either Sassy Lady and I will see it, But I think that's it for tonight, or whenever you're listening to this podcast. As my co-hosts of Sassy Lady and Jaxxis, I am Maverick Stone, and we're all saying good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This podcast is part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club. a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.